Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for joining me today. My name is Anna Guerra, and I am the Westlaw manager at your law school. I apologize for not being able to be there in person today, but I had Achilles heel surgery in July, and I'm still in recovery, unable to drive until about the end of September. So I hope to see you either later this semester or hopefully in the spring for additional training. This class is intended to help you get started becoming acquainted with Westlaw. Westlaw is a database of over 40,000 databases, including additional tools and resources to help you succeed as a law student. I'm going to highlight a few things for you today to get started, but I'll see you again later this semester for additional training when you are working on your open memo assignment. So let's go ahead and get started today, learning how to use Westlaw for some just initial research and class help on this semester. So I've logged into lawschool.tr.com and I've clicked on Westlaw Precision at the top of the screen, and this is Westlaw. So one of the things that someone always asks me is, well, what is Westlaw? So one of the things that I like to talk about is what content we have on Westlaw. So I'm going to click right here, almost in the very middle of the screen where it says content types. This allows you to see all the different type of content that we have on Westlaw, from cases, statutes, regulations, briefs, secondary materials, directories, legislative materials. Again, we have over 40,000 different databases on Westlaw, and you'll be using quite a few of those over the next 3 years, not just as a 1L, but this will be something that you will use if you make law review or the journal, if you're on moot court, if you're doing an internship or an externship, if you're working in the clinic, doing your directed research paper, working as a research assistant for a professor, or whatever you might be doing over the next 3 years in law school. Westlaw will be your partner in any of those areas. So just a couple of the things that I wanted to highlight today is I wanted to show you how to pull up a case on Westlaw if you have the party name or if you have the citation, if you have a statute that you also want to pull up, and how to find helpful databases on Westlaw as well. Additionally, I'm going to highlight some annotation and organizational tools, and again, just try to show you as much as I can within the next 30 minutes or so. All right, so let's get started. So the first thing that I want to highlight is the toolbar at the top of the screen. This can do anything for you. You can see right there that it says enter terms, citations, database. You can ask a question. You can essentially type anything into this toolbar to get started. So if you have a case name or a case citation, you can enter in either of those options right here in the toolbar. So let's say I am preparing for my criminal law class and I am looking up the case of State v. Melian. So here is the case of State v. Melian. I can click on whichever option is the one that I need. So I just typed in the party name, State v. Melian, or I can enter in the citation, 342 Southern 3rd 41, and it pulled it up as well. Either of those options will work for you. You'll also notice that when I typed the citation as well as the party names into the toolbar, I wasn't in proper citation format. I didn't have punctuation or, correct capitalization. So our toolbar is a smart toolbar, so you don't have to be perfect. You just need the party names or the citation. Either option should work. So here we have the case of State v. Melian. And there are a couple of things that I want to note here. You're going to see lots of different icons and flags and symbols. We'll talk a little bit more about those when I see you later this semester. I just initially wanted to highlight to show you how you can use this for your class prep. So let's say you are preparing for your crim law class, and this is one of the cases that you have to read for class. At the top of the screen, you'll see that we have something called the synopsis, which is a quick summary of the case, including some of the facts, the procedural history, and the holding. This is something that's really helpful to give you a quick snapshot into what happened in this case. There are a couple of things that you can do here. You can cursor over it as if you were going to copy and paste. I just let go of my mouse, and you can do a couple of things. You can highlight this information so that if you come back to State v. Million tomorrow, this will be highlighted. Maybe you want to take some notes about this. I'm going to then click on the blue option here where it says add a note. Professor mentioned this in class. I can save that. And again, the next time I access State v. Million, this will be on the case. And so any notes or annotations that you take will be saved to your password. You can annotate however it is that you want to stay organized. This is meant to work how you want to stay organized and create things on your own. The next thing that I wanted to highlight are our head notes. The West head notes are written by the West editors. These are not copied and pasted from the opinion. What I like about this is that they aren't copied and pasted. The West editors read every single case and are essentially telling us in somewhat plain English what happened in the case. This isn't their opinion or their thoughts of what happened. They read the opinion and break it down for us. So I can see that there are 29 head notes. Each case will vary. Some will have 2 or 3, some will have 29, some may have 10 or 12. Every case will be different. But what's really helpful is that as I scan through the head notes, I can see what was in front of the court. What was the court talking about in this opinion? So I can quickly see all of the issues that were argued and discussed in front of the court. So here I can see that there was something about homicide. There was some other issues dealing with criminal law, and so on. So I can easily see all of these issues that were argued and discussed in this case. Now, let's say I, am interested in reading this part dealing with sudden passion, dealing with homicide. If I click on that head note number, it will take me to that part of the opinion where that particular issue is discussed in the case. So maybe this is what I want to highlight and remember that, I need to remember this for the final. And I need to make a note of that. So again, when I come back to this on State v. Million, these notes, these highlights will still be here the next time I come back to it. There are a couple of other things that you can do here with your cases that I think are really useful. The first is this little folder icon up at the top of the screen. Just like in your Microsoft Word suite or Excel or PowerPoint, any of those tools that you use, you can create and build out folders on your Westlaw password. You can see here that I have all different kinds of folders based on classes, student groups, classes that I teach, schools that I train at. And so here you can see under my folders, I'm going to click where it says new folders, and I am going to type out criminal law 2024, and I am going to create a new folder that I want to start dropping things into. So I've just saved that into my folder. At the end of class, I'm going to highlight where that folder is, and again, other things that you can do with it. One other thing that you can do is you can start creating outlines within Westlaw itself. So I know you've heard all about case briefing and outlining for your classes. So let's say I like this paragraph, the professor mentioned it in class, and there is a pop-up option that says add to outline. And so I can see here if I have some outlines, I can go back to any of the outlines that I've created. I can build out some new outlines if I want. I can click that and create a new outline as I'm going. So I have it as untitled, but I can go up to my tools up at the top, go into my outline builder. I can see that outline that I just created. It's called Untitled. It's over here on the lower left. I can now call it, whoops, Criminal Law 2024, and start building out my crim law outline that I want to create. And now I can start building out this outline as I'm reading and preparing for my classes. You can see that I have some sample outlines here. I have them by assignment, by subjects, by my schools that I'm working with. So again, your password is your password, and you can build out your folders, your outlines, however you want to save things on Westlaw. The great thing is that this is yours, and we don't delete anything until you decide you want to delete it. So if I decide I didn't want this anymore, I could go into my outlines and then delete it using the trash can icon over on the right side of the title. But you can see all of my outlines will stay here until I delete them. All right, I'm going to go back to the home page. And the next place that I want to show you are statutes. So the first thing that you can do is you can pull up a statute if you have the citation, just like you did for a case. So if I start typing Louisiana Revised Statute 14, section, 10, I can see that that is the section for criminal intent. And I can pull up that section in the Louisiana Revised Statutes. I can drop that into my Criminal Law 2024 folder that I created. So I've saved that into my folder. I can also save this section into my outline that I created up here, Criminal Law 2024. Save that into that outline. Now I can see my outline over here on the right side and save it there and see as I'm going, I'm building it out. You maybe also noticed when I was in State v. Melian with the headnotes, it oftentimes referenced statutes. That's another great reason to look at those headnotes, is that your headnotes lead you to other helpful information. That's an important reason why I love pulling up cases on Westlaw, and why you should look at them as well, is that they're really meant to help you and help you understand what you're looking at and what the case is about. Just again, giving you a quick snapshot. It's not intended to tell you not to read the whole case. It's just, again, a little bit of insight and leading you to the part of the case where that issue is discussed. I'm going to click back onto the homepage and click back into content types. And I'm going to click over on the left side where it says statutes and court rules. So I knew the citation of where I was looking. I had 14 section 10 in the Louisiana Revised Statutes. So I did want to highlight that this is where you can find all of your statutes. For example, you can find the U.S. Code Annotated and the Constitution, the Federal Rules of Civil Procedure, all of your state statutes here as well. One of the things you will be learning is the citation format. And so maybe if you didn't know the correct format for Louisiana, you could go into Louisiana Statutes and Court Rules. I can see here we have all of the Louisiana Revised Statutes. I can open up that database as if I was looking at it in print and it was in front of me. So I could scroll down, going by title, looking for the criminal code, title 14. After all of the court rules, kind of scrolling a little fast here. And then here we have your criminal law, criminal code, and then I can begin opening it up by chapter and then by part. Another tool that is here for you, and I like pointing this tool out because it's really helpful in the sense that every jurisdiction is different. Texas is different from Louisiana. Louisiana is different from Florida. And so sometimes citation format can be a little challenging. And we have one tool here that if you are in this main link, and you can see it over here on the right as well, if you're here in Louisiana statutes and court rules or any jurisdiction, there's a tool over on the top right that says Find Template Louisiana Statutes, or whichever jurisdiction you're in. And all you need to do is then enter in the numerical portion. So all I needed to do was enter in the 1410 right next to the Louisiana Revised Statutes, and there is my criminal intent statute again. So this is just something easy for you to do. All right, I'm going to go back up to the home page. And I did want to talk a little bit about content and just some of the other reasons to use Westlaw. You will be using Westlaw primarily in your first year for legal research and writing, but it doesn't mean that you can't use it for other classes as well. And so I've included a handout that your professors will be posting for you, but the handout has a lot of other databases such as treatises, the restatements, and other publications that are really helpful for you. So one of the things that I wanted to show you, besides the content types, is this link up at the top that says My Links. And if I click on mine, and yours will look different because you've just received your password, there's an option that says Favorites. So you can see on my password that I've added quite a few databases onto my password. Things for my criminal law class, civil procedure, property, torts, contracts, whatever it is that you might be working on. You can also see as I start scrolling down, I have other favorites. And you can do this as well on your password by project, by classes, by your personal interest, and start adding and creating your own little database banks of your favorite places on Westlaw. So all you need to do is at the top is click where it says add a group, and then just simply call it something such as Fall 1L 2024, or whatever you want to call it. It will then add a favorites bank, and you can start adding databases here. But how do you add databases to your favorites, and what else can you do with them? So I'm going to go back to the home page. So under content types, you can start exploring, looking for databases, Louisiana cases, federal cases, Fifth Circuit, various law reviews and journals if you're interested, different forms, different statutes, whatever you might be interested in, you can look for them. But you can also type a database name in the toolbar that you're interested in seeing if we have on Westlaw. So for example, we have exclusively Black's Law Dictionary. So I can see here that under content pages is Black's Law Dictionary. And I can now save this to my favorites. On your screen, it'll say add favorites. So I can see here, there's my Fall 1L 2024 class resources. So I can add that. And now when I click on my links, I can see that it's added right here under my Fall 1L 2024 class resources. So anytime I come back to Westlaw, I can click on favorites. There is Black's Law Dictionary, and now I can search in it. So there are a couple of ways that you can search in Black's Law Dictionary. I can run a search here in the toolbar, or I can use these templates that are right here on the screen. My favorite one, and I think the best one for you to use, is the option that says dictionary term. So let's say I was looking to define the word intent, and I needed to find that definition for class to help me with my State v. Melian case and understanding what happened. So here I can see that there are 51 options. So if I just had one word, such as intent, I would simply type into that template the word intent. But if I had a phrase such as mens rea, force majeure, sexual harassment, whatever it might be, I would put it in quotes in that template box. So I can scroll through looking for all the definitions, anything that has the word intent in the title. And there under document number 20 is the intent that I might be looking for. The first thing I can do is I can save that into my folder. I want to come back to that in just a minute. And so here we have the state of mind, accompanying an act. I can scroll through and here we have the phrase criminal intent. Maybe I want to save that and remember that. Good for Melian case. Maybe I want to remember why I have that. So because I've dropped this into my folder already, this note and this highlight is already automatically saved for me. And so I don't have to keep saving it over and over again. It's another benefit of your folders. I can also add things to my outline if I wanted to do that. There's my criminal law outline. I can save that. I'll show you what the outline looks like here in just a minute as well. One of the things that I did also want to highlight is if something is hyperlinked on Westlaw, if it looks interesting, go ahead and click on it. You can always go back to something else by utilizing your history. So here I can see that it also links me to the definition of mens rea. And so this might be another dictionary definition that I want from Black's Law Dictionary. Maybe I want to save that into my folder and save that into my crim law folder. All right, so just a couple of things to refresh and go back to. First are your favorites. Remember, access those databases on the handout that your professors are posting for you. I have links to all of these databases and you can access them and then build out your own favorites by clicking add a group and then calling it whatever you want, Fall 1L, whatever your school name is, 1L class resources. Again, your password is yours. And any of these are now would be accessible on your password. If you're struggling a little bit with torts, here is a great torts treatise. We have treatises for property, contract, civil procedure, con law, any of your courses that you're going to be taking. We have some great free resources available to you on Westlaw. So that is your favorites. So remember, favorite saves places on Westlaw for you to go back to. I'm going to click on folders and I'm going to click into my criminal law folder that I was building out. So your folders save what I call pieces of paper, documents that you want to go back to or parts of documents that you want to go back to. So you can see here that I have State v. Melian, the statute from the Louisiana Revised Statutes, my Black's Law Dictionary definitions that I had. And so this is just an easy way to keep track of materials that you might want to go back to. Again, over on the left side of the screen, you can see all of the different folders that I create. I create and delete folders all the time. So you can do that on your password as well anytime you want to. If I go back to the main screen, I can simply click over on the right side with the folder with the little plus sign and start creating as many folders as I want. And so again, your password is your password. You can do with it what you want and just keep track of cases, rules, treatise articles, anything that you want to keep track of into your folders. And again, these stay on your password until you delete them. So this is absolutely something that you can use and save over the next few years. And then when it's time, don't want to talk too soon, you can use these for bar prep. Up at the top under the tools icon is, remember, where you will see your outline builder. Remember, we dropped a couple of things into your outline. And so this allows you to keep track of everything that you've been keeping and reading and highlighting. And you can also add headings and, week 1 of class. And maybe you want to save that and remember that this is what happened in week 1 of class. So if I want to rearrange that, I can move that up to the very top. And remember that this is what I read the first week of class. I can email or download this to myself, print it out, keep it in my, notebook, or download it into Word and keep that with my own information that I have going with my own notes. So I did want to highlight that information as well. So just one of the things that I wanted to say and just really kind of emphasize is that this is up to you. I'm not telling you you have to use all of these. You can use one of them or 2 of them or all of them. And for me, I think the best thing for you is just to get on and play around with things and look for things and pull up cases that you're reading in your casebook and seeing what is available for you. A couple of final things that I did want to highlight. At the top of the screen, you'll see the history option. And this is where you'll see everything that you've been doing on your password since you've registered. So I know you've just received your password within the past week or 2. And so here you can see all of the search if you've completed any, all of your cases, all of your statutes, definitions, articles that you've pulled up, anything that you've pulled up on Westlaw will be here. Now, your history does start to disappear after 1 year. So anything you want to keep, put it in a folder, because your folders stay on your password until you delete them or put them in an outline. So either of those will save. Your history does inevitably start dropping off your password after 1 full year. A couple of more things that I did want to reference. You'll see my email running across the top of the screen. You are welcome to email me at any time. I do have a general response time of 24 hours. So if you do have questions, please don't hesitate to email me. I am not allowed to answer any specific research questions, but if you have a question about how to do something or where to find something or how does this work or what does this mean, I am happy to answer that, but I can't look at your assignment and say, yes, this is a good case, or that's the statute that I would use. I'm not permitted to help in that way, but I am allowed to help you navigate and learn how to use Westlaw. And then just one last thing, always sign out using the sign out button in the top right corner. That always ensures that your session is over and that you're not just letting Westlaw run behind the scenes. That's always really important and a good practice to get into as a student. And that's important in the future. Hopefully, when you're a summer associate or working as a clerk, you'll be allowed to use Westlaw. And that's something just really important to remember. So those were just a few of the things. Be sure to look out for that handout, and all of those titles are linked. If there's anything else that you were looking for or that you want to find or ask if we have on Westlaw, please don't hesitate to ask or just start typing things in to see if we have them. I am also happy to help you understand and learn how to use Westlaw over the next few years. Thanks so much for listening. I appreciate your time.